Okay, behind the science, we're still talking about what science shows us and tells us about energy and vibrations and the law of vibration. So it all comes down to feelings. Feelings, obviously, if everything has a vibration, your feelings most certainly have a vibration. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out which feelings are high vibration and which feelings are low vibration, because you can feel it. You can feel that when you're grumpy all the time, or you're having a rotten day, and you're choosing to have a bad attitude, you're not feeling so great. Maybe you get a headache. Maybe you start to feel under the weather. You feel tired, fatigued, depressed, right? And then there's those days when everything seems to be going right, and you're so happy and you're so grateful, and you're looking for the good in everything. And you're feeling on a high. You're feeling great. You're feeling young and vibrant and energetic and just wide awake. So you can feel, you know which feelings are high vibration and which feelings are low vibration. So understanding this, I want you to know that this is how it works right here. Our thoughts lead to our feelings lead to our emotions, and our emotions lead to the outcome. Now there are some people who actually reverse this, and they believe that the feelings lead to the thoughts. You feel something, so then you decide what you're going to think about it. But you can think about it either way. But we're going to talk about thoughts leading to feelings. A thought pops into your mind, and you can choose how you're going to feel about that thought. You can choose to feel happy about it and look for the good in it, or you can choose to let that thought pull you down and be negative about it. So whatever you choose to feel about that thought is going to lead to an emotion. Now, what does an emotion mean? I'm not sure if any of you know. Maybe some of you do. I know there's been songs written about it. But it's energy in motion, okay? So the emotion is the energy of your thoughts and your feelings put into motion. So maybe when you see somebody waving their arms at you wildly on the freeway, they cut you off, they're experiencing an emotion. They're exerting that energy through their body. You can see them waving their arms, they're angry, they're shouting. Somebody that's crying uncontrollably and sobbing, that's an emotion. Somebody who's shouting praises and shouting for joy with their arms up in the air, that's an emotion. Okay, so the thoughts lead to the feelings, which lead to the emotions, which lead to the outcome, okay? Now this is so important, because if we understand this, we can reverse it. We can figure out if we don't like the outcomes that we're experiencing in our current life, we can follow it and trace it back, just play a little detective here, trace it back to the thought. And when we can pinpoint the thought, we can choose to change how we feel about that thought, or get rid of that altogether, get it out of us, which will change the outcome in our lives. This is huge. When you understand this, this is so powerful. This right here, this little chain right here is key in changing your life. If you understand this, you realize that you have the power to take your life from bad to good, okay? Now also, maybe if you're not paying attention, you can also use this to take your life from experiencing good to bad. So it goes either way. Okay, so I have a video. Like I said, I love visuals because they really help hit it home. And those visual images help stimulate and ingrain that into your mind so that you can remember it. And if it's ingrained in your mind, you're going to be more likely to apply it. So here's a video about water. I want to share with you what this looks like with water, okay? Dr. Imori, who is a Japanese doctor, he did an experiment where he exposed music, words that were typed and spoken, pictures, images, videos to water. And you can see what happened when the water was looked at under the microscope. Okay? That was love. This is what love looks like. This is what the vibration of love does to water. Here's thank you. Beautiful. They look like snowflakes, right? Love and appreciation. So pretty. Happiness. Truth. This is the good one. Truth is absolutely beautiful, which is why we seek it all the time, right? Okay, here's some crystallized water from this lake. Sorry, I couldn't pronounce it. Beautiful water in that lake. Now here's Fujiwara Dam. Before they prayed over it. The water's polluted, it's dirty. Now they blessed it and they used the word Mother Teresa on this water sample. Look what that same image changed to. Here's "You make me sick, I will kill you." Wow, it distorts the water completely. Even changes the color. The word soul. Okay, it's like there's a heart in the middle. It's beautiful. Adolf Hitler. Look, see the face right here? It's crazy. Gratitude. Beautiful. This is what gratitude looks like in water. Okay, this is a sample taken from holy water. Amazing. Peace. It almost looks like lace. I love it. Beethoven. Oh my goodness, it's incredible. Music is powerful. I hope this helps you think about the music that you choose to listen to. Amazing Grace. Beautiful. And again, just incredible symmetry. Demon. Wow, it kind of looks like a demon, doesn't it? After exposure to a child. Little children have high frequencies. Anger. Someone even just saying the word anger puts out this vibration. Yes, if thoughts can do that to water, imagine what they can do to us. I believe actually over 60% of our body is made up of water. You've heard 70, 75, 90%, but it's big. It's a big number. If your body's mostly made up of water, what are thoughts and feelings and images and music doing to your body, right? Okay, that's powerful. Now you may have actually have been exposed to this experiment before if you've ever seen or heard of the rice jar experiment, where people take a jar of rice and fill it with water, and they have two jars, and on one jar they tape negative words all over it and play negative music, aggressive music, and they speak negative words to it all the time. And then at the same time they have this other jar and they put positive words with high vibrations all around the jar, and they speak loving, positive, uplifting words to it and play loving, positive, uplifting music. And after time, the jar with the negative vibrations starts to turn dark brown, almost black. The water gets filthy and the rice starts to rot. At the same time, the jar with the beautiful words on it and the good vibrations stays beautiful. The water stays clear, the rice stays white, and the one with the negative feelings and vibration actually has a stinky odor. So that just goes to show you the physiological effect that feelings and emotions have on our bodies. So when you're feeling sick and unhealthy, what thoughts have you been allowing into your mind to stay there? And what feelings have you been choosing to feel? And what emotions have you been choosing to express? And that goes into your body. Those powerful vibrations change the makeup of your body. It changes the cells. It changes it down to the DNA. It's powerful. We can get illness that way. We can age quicker that way. Or the opposite. We can slow down the aging process. We can actually look younger. We can feel healthier. We can have more energy. We can look brighter. The light within us can shine brighter. All based on our thoughts and the feelings that we choose and the emotions that we express. It's powerful. Now think about music. What songs are you listening to? Sometimes we just think about the words and we think, well, the words are okay, but maybe it's a really aggressive beat. How does that beat make you feel? Does it make you feel aggressive and like you want to fight or punch something? Or does it make you want to be in a hurry? Or is the music that you're listening to, the words and the beat, slowing it down a bit, making you feel joyful and relaxed and peaceful and positive? Okay, pay attention to the lyrics as well, because the music, the beat, and the tune might feel great and fun, but the words that they throw in, maybe you're not paying attention to the words. Maybe there's some very low vibrating words, sentences, phrases, suggestions that are in those songs. And, your mind's going to pick up on that. And when you hear it, it goes into your mind. It's stored in there. And I know, we've all experienced having a song stuck in our head, right? It just replays over and over and over in our mind, even in our unconscious mind. So we may not even be aware of it. And those suggestions are repeating over and over. Those words are repeating. Those beats and vibrations are repeating. And it's doing wonders. It's either wreaking havoc on our body, or it's doing amazing wonders for our body. So pay attention to what you're listening to. This also goes for other sources of media. Think about the movies that you're watching, the TV shows that you're watching. Is there violence in them? Is there blood and gore? Is there swearing? Is there explicit sexual scenes? Are the people in there fighting all the time? Is there war? Is there arguments? Is there, really analyze what it is you're watching and think to yourself, is this something I want to put into my body? Because those vibrations are real, whether they're actors or real life people in documentaries, it doesn't matter. They're real vibrations. And those real vibrations are going into your mind, into your body, into your spirit, and they're changing you. So be aware of that. Now that you know that, you are accountable. That's the fun about these workshops, is you learn things and then you realize, yikes, now I'm accountable. Now I have to be careful about my choices. Okay, so with all of this, it's important to understand and realize that what you focus on is what you get. So think about that. What you focus on is what you get. This is the law of vibration, also known as the law of attraction. If you're focusing on negative vibrations, if you're focusing on all the things that you don't like, all of the people that have done you wrong, and all the experiences that have gone wrong in your life, and all the things that you failed at, or just miserable things, you're focusing on negative, you're going to get more and more of that, because that's what the law of attraction is. That's what the law of vibration is. Now, if you understand magnets, this will make a lot of sense. Magnets attract to other magnets. Metal that sticks to a magnet, well, it's also a magnet. The law of attraction works in a similar way to a magnet, except instead of it being an attractive force between metals, it's an attractive force between frequencies. Imagine that, Same thing with vibrations. You're vibrating in a low negative vibration. You're going to attract more things into your life that have low negative vibrations. So you're going to keep getting the same thing over and over, the same relationships, people treating you the same way, the same experiences. It's almost like patterns that repeat over and over in your life. Well, it's because your area of focus is your area of attention. It's what you're going to keep bringing into your life. Now, at the same time, if you choose to change that, and you say, what are the negative thoughts that I keep allowing into my mind, or that are still in my mind, even from years ago, that I need to pull out? Okay? Change the way you feel about them. Allow yourself to let them go. Allow yourself to have peace with them. Forget about them. Move on. Let the past go. Okay? That's going to change your emotions. You're going to start to feel calm and peaceful and happy, which is going to change the outcome. And all of a sudden, you're going to see it flip. And as your vibration starts to go up and you start to feel better and better and better and better, little by little, but very quickly, you'll see things change in your life. Relationships change. You attract different people into your life. Suddenly you have people around you that you like. Things start to go more your way. Suddenly you're the one saying, gosh, I seem to be really lucky. Everything that I enter or that I try, I always win it. It always works out in my favor. You're going to become one of those people. And I've experienced this time and time and time again in my life, and I know I've done countless videos. You can go to my YouTube channel or my Happy Lady Facebook page and see the many videos where I talk about every time this happens to me. It's real and it's incredible. Okay, so what do we do about this? Now that we know this, we know that we need to change the way that we're talking. Instead of focusing on all the things you're against, all the things that you're anti about, are you anti-war? Are you anti-slavery? Whatever it is, right? Quit focusing and using the word anti, and quit focusing on what you don't like and what you're against. Focus on the opposite of that. Change it to the pro. So instead of saying I'm anti-war, you would say what? I am pro-peace. Instead of saying I'm anti-slavery, you would say I'm pro-freedom. So quit using those words. It's all about the words that you're using, and it's hard to do. You've trained your brain for all these years to think a certain way and your body to speak a certain way. But go back and start focusing on the words that you're using, and stop focusing on all the things you don't like and that you're against, and do the opposite. Focus on what you're for. So if you know something you don't like, if you find yourself saying, you know what, you're stuck in traffic and you say, I really don't like road construction. It really angers me and frustrates me and bothers me, and traffic's so slow and I can't get to where I want to go, and gosh, this darn freeway always seems to be under construction, and why is it always when I'm in a hurry, right? You've probably heard yourself say that before. Well, stop yourself in that moment next time it happens and say, okay, what do I like? I know that I like being able to get from point A to point B. I like that I have a car that can get me from point A to point B. I'm grateful that I have a car and that I have a driver's license so that I can get myself from point A to point B. I like it when traffic flows smoothly and everything just flows so smoothly, and everybody's paying attention to the traffic rules, and I have an enjoyable ride, and I'm able to just feel peace and relax and enjoy the scenery, and I'm able to listen to beautiful music. My favorite song comes on and I'm just enjoying that driving experience. I'm really pro for that. That's something I really enjoy. I love it when I have these wonderful driving experiences, because when I get home, boy, I just wish I could go right back and do it again. I don't mind being in the car that long when I'm enjoying it. I love it. Okay, so that's how you would do that. And maybe that sounded a little bit tricky to do or a little bit forced, but that's okay. It's all about repetition. So take a moment right now, and if you have a piece of paper in front of you or a notebook, write down on there just a couple of things that you've heard yourself say recently that you don't like. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's an experience, or maybe it's something you just feel like you don't have control over. It's something that's going on in your family, in your community, at work, or in the world. So write down, if you need to pause it, go ahead, but write down a few things that you don't like or that you have been against. Okay, now next to that, write down how you can change that. How can you be for the opposite of that? How can you change the wording of that? What phrases can you say? What feelings can you create? So you see, when you do this, you're changing a vibration inside of you. Instead of focusing on all the negative things that you don't like about a person, place, or thing or experience, you're starting to focus on the hope of it. The hope that one day traffic will be good, or this person will be nice to you, and what that would feel like, and what you like about thinking about that, how you feel when you think about traffic being easy, and when you think about your boss at work being kind to you and flexible with you, when you think about more opportunities coming into your life, and having more success with your goals and in all areas of your life. How does that feel? What does that feel like? What does that taste like? What does that look like? And as you start creating this in your mind and imagining it, those vibrations and feelings come into your heart, and you start to feel happy and peaceful and hopeful. And if you can even just create hope that, yeah, maybe things aren't like that right now in this moment, but I have hope that someday they will be like that, and I'm going to focus on that hope. And in that hope, I'm going to focus on what life feels like when things are that way. How happy I feel, how good I feel, how amazing life is. And you focus on that, you create those feelings inside of you, which creates those vibrations, which starts to change your body and change your world around you. And it starts to attach to similar vibrations that are all around you. So if you have things and opportunities and people and places that are around you, maybe you can't see them right now and you don't know where they are, but they're there, and they match that vibration, they're going to come into your life. So all of a sudden you start getting emails with amazing opportunities. You start getting job offers. You start getting invitations to do things that are really fun. You start getting ideas. Amazing relationships start to come into your life. You have amazing friends. Maybe you find the man or woman of your dreams. Whatever it is, it's going to match that vibration. So keep in mind, I'm just going to add a little bit more to this. If you're in a low vibration and you're trying to find the man or woman of your dreams, or the job of your dreams, or the opportunity of your dreams, are you going to find it? No, you're going to repeat those patterns. You're going to get the same people in your life that you don't like, the same kind of bad relationships, the same jobs that you end up hating and that you're miserable at. the same opportunities that always seem to end with failure, right? It's because you're trying to reach your goals and reach for things in a low vibration. And so as you make that effort to reach for those things, you're just going to attract the same vibrations that you already are vibrating at. So when you want to go after Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, or the dream job or the dream opportunity or whatever it is, you have to already have raised your vibration before you do it if you want to expect to get good results and get those matching vibrations. So when you understand the science behind this and how this is, the reality of it, how it's real, how this works in your life, it starts to give you that motivation to want to make those changes, to change your thoughts, to stop your thoughts, to change your feelings, to change your emotions. You start to realize that you are in control, that you're not a victim, and things just don't happen to you by chance, but you're a creator. You were sent here to be a creator and to create these experiences and to create this life that you have. And how are you creating it right now? Are you enjoying your creations, or are you not enjoying the creations of your life right now? This is a great time to take some inventory and to do some deeper thinking later when you have a moment, to go over your life and review all the areas. Review every area of your life, relationships, goals, work, health, all of it. And try to pinpoint, if things aren't going the way you want them to be going, try to pinpoint why. What thoughts and feelings and emotions are standing in the way of those vibrations? What's pulling you down? And then you can change it. It's actually a lot of fun when you realize you have this control and this power over your own life, and that you're not a victim, but that you can be a victor. It's amazing. It's empowering. And it's so much fun. Okay, in a state of unhappiness, we tend to focus on what we don't like and what we don't want, so we get more of it. So I'm going to share with you a really funny experience, and maybe you can relate to it. So I have a lady that cleans my home, and I just have her do the dusting. She just does the dusting of the blinds, and she comes every other week, and just for a couple hours. And most of the time when she comes, she has a lot of baggage on her plate, and she likes to kind of vent and tell me about all the things that are going wrong in her life, and how mean the people are in her life, and it just, once in a while, good things will happen and she'll share how things are getting better, but most of the time things aren't going so great. And this one particular day she came, I actually was having one of those days, and I was pressured to get this presentation put together for a workshop I was doing, and I was traveling quite a distance to get there, and I was being paid a good amount of money to go, and so I wanted to make it the best I could make it, and I was putting a lot of time into it, but it was coming down to crunch time. And I was just trying to get it finished, just had a couple more slides to do, and it had been one of those 24 hours where, probably because I felt stressed and pressured, I was putting off those vibrations of stress and pressure, and so that's what I was getting back into my life, is more stressful things and more pressure. Well, when she came to my home to clean, she was having one of those days as well, and I remember thinking, oh no, this can't be good for both of us. And anyways, I was in the office working on my laptop, and I remember she tripped over the cord and knocked it out of the wall. And I remember she felt really bad, and I just hurried and plugged it back in and didn't think anything much of it. Well, the next day when I went to finish everything up, the laptop was starting to die, so I went to go plug it in, and I thought it was strange because it had been plugged in. It should have been fully charged. And when I plugged it in and it wouldn't charge, I thought, oh no, what's going on? And then I looked and saw that when she had tripped over the cord, the force of pulling that cord out actually ripped out the little metal device in the cord that goes into the laptop. So that little metal stick, you know what I'm talking about? It broke off, and it was still in the laptop. So it didn't do me any good, and there was no way I could get it out, and if I could get it out, I couldn't fix it. And lo and behold, my laptop died, and I couldn't finish the presentation, and I was just even more stressed, just even more pressured. Had to run over to a local laptop repair store and see if they could fix it, and of course they couldn't, so I had to buy a whole new computer. So $2,000 later, they built me a new computer, and it took about 4 days to build. So I had to have them send me the presentation to my husband. Well, they sent it to me, and then I sent it to my husband's computer, and I had to hurry and work on his, and he needed it, and it was just chaotic and crazy. And I was actually grateful for that experience, and I'm glad to share it with you because it taught me that that could have been avoided. You know, when we're feeling those real vibrations, we bring them just as powerful back into our lives. And so her tripping over that cord and ripping it out, and me having to spend $2,000 on a computer, and you know, both of us having those negative, stressed out vibrations, we came into each other's contact and those magnetic fields crossed, and it was just even more powerful. And I share that story with you to kind of help you be aware of the times in your life when things go absolutely wrong and you think, what in the world just happened? How did that just happen? Why did that just happen? And if we go back, like up here, we start with the outcome and we follow it back and we do that detective work, we can always trace it to a feeling which came from a thought. So I share that with you because I laugh at it now, and it's because it was horrible when it was happening to me in the moment, but now I can look back on it and understand it and dissect it and laugh about it and realize that, you know what, it is what it is, and that's the truth of how this science really works. Okay, so we're going to go ahead now and talk about a little bit more of how powerful our feelings really are. So first of all, I want to say you can create change with just your feelings. And you might think about that and think, well, yeah, I've heard that before, or everybody says that, but how does it really work, right? So let's talk about it. There is a man named Dr. David R. Hawkins, and he actually did an entire research study on this. And he coined something that he calls the map of consciousness. And, you know, this is huge. The day that I first learned about this map of consciousness, it changed my life. I think about it all the time. And we're gonna put it up here on the screen so you can see it, because having this visual in your mind helps you understand the power of your feelings, and not just how powerful they are, but the effect that they have over your life. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So I bottom down here, despising being the very lowest bottom vibrating feeling, all the way up to the highest, which is enlightenment. This is, you can see he's got it arranged right here. He's got God view, life view, level, the logarithms, emotion, and process. So let's talk about this a little bit and help you understand and make sense of what this really is. So according to Dr. Hawkins, down here at the bottom of the chart, if someone is experiencing despising, if they're despising God, if that's the view they have of God, they despise Him, then their view on life is going to be miserable. They're experiencing misery. And this puts them at a level of shame. They're feeling shame. Now this calibrates at a level of 20 calibrations. So that is the lowest low on the chart. And the emotion that's expressed by this feeling is humiliation. And the process leads to elimination. So you might think of someone who commits suicide, or there's other ways that you can eliminate things in your life, yourself, other people, just the lowest of the lows. And then you have the complete opposite end, all the way up here at the top. Now, your God view is you, yourself, you're one with God. And your life view is, which is the present time. You're living in the present. So I am, is. You're living in the present, not dwelling on the past, not worried about the future, but you have faith and you're living in the present. Everything is. And the level is enlightenment. So you're experiencing the feeling of enlightenment, which calibrates all the way up from 700 to 1,000 calibrations. And the emotion expressed by that is ineffable, which leads to pure consciousness. So this is the highest of the high. This is as high as you can get. This is when you're experiencing truth, you're bearing testimony, you're receiving witness, you're praising God. You are experiencing that high, that enlightenment, that light, that oneness, and it's amazing, and you can feel it from head to toe. You're radiating with joy and light and beaming with love, and it's the highest you can get. So now that you can see this chart, you can see We've got the polar opposites, down here being the lowest, up here being the highest. Okay, so here's where we're going to get a little bit more detailed, and I really hope I don't lose you here. So stay with me throughout this, and then we're going to kind of bring it back home and make sense of how we can apply this in our lives. Okay, so to understand this a little bit better, basically what we have here is a list of logarithmic calibrations. They're measurable vibratory frequencies on a scale which increases to the 10th power. So these are the levels of human consciousness and its corresponding level of reality. So what you're giving off, what your feeling is, and your life view and your God view and all of that, the vibration that you're giving off creates your reality. So again, this goes back to the law of vibration. You're vibrating and creating your reality from your vibrations. Okay, so in Dr. Hawkins' book, Power versus Force, he explains this in a little bit more detail. Now, these are some things that I really, really like. What I'm about to share with you is just incredible. So if we need to break it down, we will. But first, let's just cover these few areas that I just think sum this all up to the highest degree. Okay, so did you know that although only 15% of the world's population is above the critical consciousness level of 200? So when you look at this chart right here, and you see 200, and that's the level of courage. Now, it's funny because I've heard people say, well, isn't courage a good thing? Isn't it good to have courage? But that's just kind of where the borderline is, because think about it. If you need to have courage, what does that really mean? If you need to have courage, does it mean that you're stating that something must be frightening or terrifying, or there's a reason that you need to be brave and have courage? That's what that means. And so that's not the vibration you want to be at. And you just want to be able to do things based off of faith. Courage is good if you're afraid and you have fear and you want to feel bold and step outside of the box and have that courage and be brave and face what it is you're afraid of. But remember, where there's courage, there must be a fear, otherwise we wouldn't call it courage. So with that in mind, know right here, this is the barrier line, right here at 200. Above here, above 200 is where 15% of the world vibrates. So only 15% of the world's population is up here. Well, that leaves the remaining population vibrating below 200, which is pretty low. And so according to Dr. Hawkins, he says, the collective power of that 15% has the weight to counterbalance the negativity of the remaining 85% of the world's population. Now, because the scale of power advances logarithmically, a single avatar, so a single person, at a consciousness level of 1,000, way up here at the top, can in fact totally counterbalance the collective negativity of all of mankind. Kinesiological testing has shown that. So what this means is you just have one person up here, just one person in the world. Now remember, we talked about one person making a difference. This is it right here. If you're feeling enlightenment, if you're seeking truth and bearing your testimony and expressing witness and gratitude and being one with the Lord, if you're up here, you're putting off that logarithm of 1,000 calibrations, and you're counterbalancing the rest of the population. So you're counterbalancing 85% of the world. That's incredible. He goes on to show, I don't have a visual for this, so I'll just explain it to you. But he goes on to explain that just one person calibrating at level 700, so let's find that. So right here, right above all being, in between all being and self, so at the bottom of self. So one person calibrating at 700 will counterbalance 70 million people below level 200. 70 million. That is a lot of people. Okay, one person calibrating at a level of 600. So now we're down here. Peace and bliss, right? That's awesome. One person at this level will counterbalance 10 million people that are below level 200. Okay, it gets better. One person calibrating at level 500, so now we are right here, love, reverence, so you know what you're feeling on Sunday. One person at this level will counterbalance 750,000 people below level 200. Now, one person at level 400, so even if you're just down here, you're reasoning, trying to understand, you view God as wise and all-knowing. Okay, if you're right here at this level, you are counterbalancing. Can you guess? Go ahead and take a guess. Okay, time's up. It's 400,000 people that are below 200. Okay, now one person calibrating at a level of 300. So now we're right in between here. So you're neutral. You're satisfied. You're enabling. You're trusting. Okay, you're calibrating right here. You are counterbalancing 90,000 people below 200. Okay, and finally, if you have 12 people, just 12, at level 700, so experiencing enlightenment, that is equal to one person vibrating at 1,000. So you'll have 12 people at the lowest of this highest vibration, just 12 people at 700, that is equal to just one person at 1,000. So even if you're not all the way up here to 1,000 and you're at 700 and there are 11 other of you in the world experiencing enlightenment, you, the 12 of you together, are acting as if you were one person calibrating at this highest level right here of 1,000. And that's incredible. And we know what that counterbalance is as we went through that chart. So this is incredible. Now I want you to think a little deeper on that for those of you who love the spiritual mysteries of things. I think you'll really appreciate this. I'm not going to go into detail, but I want you to just ponder the significance of the number 12 people being equal to the 1. 12 people being equal to the 1. What does that mean to you? Because it's powerful. Okay. All right. So continuing on here. Dr. Hawkins goes on to say in his book, were it not for these counterbalances, mankind would self-destruct out of the sheer mass of its unopposed negativity. The difference in power between a loving thought and a fearful thought is so enormous as to be beyond the capacity of the human imagination to easily comprehend. We can see from the analysis above, however, that even a few loving thoughts during the course of the day more than counterbalances all of our negative thoughts. Incredible. Okay, so according to him, if we didn't have these counterbalances, all of mankind would self-destruct. We would all be destroyed just from our own negativity. So it's crucial that we have this. And so never for a minute think that you don't make a difference. Never for a minute think that your choice to pull yourself down from here, from this level up to here, even if it's just being neutral, just feeling satisfied, even if you can just pull yourself up to that level, you are counterbalancing so many people. I mean, it's incredible. You are counterbalancing at least 90,000 other people in the world, and they're feeling that change. Now, of course, they're not going to know that it's because of you, and they may not even realize that it's happening at the time, but that's the truth of it. That's the science behind it. That is how it works, and it's incredible. And now if you are a spiritual person, you will appreciate this information when you go back and read scriptures and you study what the Savior teaches about the power of your mind and your thoughts and being positive, being joyful. And you take this knowledge and apply it to those scriptures. It just changes the way that those scriptures read altogether. It's absolutely powerful. Okay, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to say something when I talked about the 12 individuals calibrating at 700 being equal to the 1 at 1,000. That is called, a lot of people refer to that as the one with Christ vibration. When the scriptures speak about being one with the Lord, you are being one with the Lord when you are vibrating up here at His vibration. This is the highest vibration in the universe. This is what He vibrates at. And when you're experiencing oneness with the Lord, when you're feeling connected and you're tapped in to His power and you're feeling His presence all around you, and you're aligning your will with the will of the Lord, you are at one. You are at one with the divinity, and you are experiencing that high vibration. And so it's absolutely powerful. Now back to this chart right here. a way to kind of keep this in check with yourself each day is remember that when you're down at the bottom here, at the very, very bottom, when you're feeling shame and misery and you're despising God and you're feeling humiliated, maybe you got caught doing something that you shouldn't have been doing and you're embarrassed and humiliated, you're feeling shame, of course you're miserable, you are small. You are sitting small. And when you're up here, you're standing tall. So remember, down here at 20, shame, you're sitting small. Experiencing enlightenment, you're standing tall. And have this visual in your mind of a person up here at the highest level. Visualize somebody with their arms raised up towards the heavens, praising God. So important that we take the time every day to experience that enlightenment, to study scripture, to read good books, to search out truths, and to feel that enlightenment every time we receive witness of a truth through the Spirit. Every time we receive a confirmation that something is true, we feel that enlightenment. We feel connected to God. We feel Him speaking to us and confirming to us through His Spirit that what we are reading or learning is true. And it's amazing. It's the best feeling. It's a high. It really is a high. And the more you do it, the more you keep yourself up here. All right, one last thing I want to point out about this chart is when you are up here experiencing enlightenment, another match to enlightenment is praise. So that's why I talked about praise. Every time you praise God for the good and the bad, you are putting yourself up here. Now I'm going to share with you a couple of experiences that just came to mind that I think are going to be powerful at helping demonstrate what this looks like in your life. Okay, so I had a friend from Idaho, and I know I've shared this before in my other YouTube videos, so you may have heard this before. But I had a friend from Idaho, and she called me up one day. I was making dinner, and just out of the blue, unexpectedly, she called me and said, "Oh my goodness, Lindsey, I've lost my keys to my condo. I don't know what to do. I'm worried because I've been searching all afternoon. I've prayed. I haven't received any answers yet. I haven't found them, and I'm worried that when I go to bed tonight, someone's going to break in to my condo and rob me because they've got my keys. And I'm so terrified. I don't know what to do." And when I prayed, the only thing I could think of was call Lindsey. Lindsey will have the answer. Call Lindsey. And she said, I just feel like that with your help, maybe just with your prayers, the power of your prayers will help me find my keys. And right in that moment, this map of consciousness came into my mind. And I told her, I felt impressed to tell her, you know what? Have you tried thanking God yet and praising Him for losing your keys? And she thought about that for a second and thought, oh, well, no, I haven't thought of that, and no, I haven't done that. And I said to her, there is such power in praising God, especially in moments of despair, but for the good and the bad. And when you do that, it's going to change your vibration, which is going to vibrate what you want into your life. It's gonna vibrate what it is you're looking for. The answers you're wanting are going to come. So those keys are going to come to you. You're going to be led to those keys. But you have to pull yourself up to that level first, because you're down here. You're down here in despair and anger and fear and all of these feelings that are down here. She was frightened, right? Okay, having anxiety, that's not what we want. So she said, okay, I'm going to try that. I can do that. I'm going to try that. Thanks. So, of course, I said a prayer for her that she'd be able to do this and she'd be led to her keys. And if it was the Lord's will for her to have those keys lost, that she'd be led to a really quick plan B of what to do about it. Well, just not even 10 minutes or so passed by, and she calls me back and said, oh my goodness, thank you so much. I did that and it worked. She said, it was the most amazing thing. I stood there and I looked up and I praised God for losing my keys. And because, you know, when you praise God, what you're doing is you're telling Him that you trust Him. Okay, we had trust up here. You're telling God that you trust Him. You know that He's wise. He's wise and all-knowing. And you feel love and joy and peace. Peace in knowing that God is in control of your life. So praising Him is telling God that you trust His plan for you. You trust His will in all things. You know He's got this. You know His hand is in your life. He's in charge of every bit of it. And if it's His will for you to find those keys, you'll find them because He knows right where they are, and you will be led to those keys. So praising Him is thanking Him for the good and the bad. telling him that you trust him. No matter what comes into your life, you trust that it's all going to be for your good in the end. It will always lead to something good. Okay, so she did that. And she said shortly after that happened, she felt inspired to go check behind her car. And so she went to the back of her car, and there were her keys. And she just felt an immense amount of relief, but she experienced such gratitude that happened. She felt so grateful that she went through that experience because it taught her a huge lesson about the power of praise. And she experienced firsthand what it's like to go from anxiety way down here all the way up to peace. And she learned a truth, so she was actually experiencing enlightenment. And those keys came right to her. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. This law of vibration is it's a real law. It's a law of the universe. It's one of God's laws. And it's a law that can't be changed. It is what it is. And when you understand it, it makes life so much better, so much easier, because you realize how much control you have over your feelings and emotions, and how you have a choice. And you don't need to be a victim. You can be a victor. And so remember, last way to remember this, remember, victims play small, praise stands tall. So you want to stand tall and praise God for everything, the good and the bad. Love this.